Hey, you guys. Let's go ahead and get started with some messages from our spirit guides, angels, and ancestors. What messages do we have for the collective? What is the most important messages they need to hear right now? What do we got out? Okay, we got the chariot and the moon. Actually, funny enough, the chariot is the moon. So Cancer could be of importance. You could be a Cancer, sun, moon, rising, or dealing with a Cancer. This is about, with the chariot, it's about success, movement forward. The moon is about the unknown, so moving into the unknown. We also have that full moon coming up, and then actually tomorrow, now that I think about it. So what else do we have here? We've got the Six of Air. All right, so two cards of movement. Okay, moving into calmer waters, success and recognition. We've got the Four of Air. Four of Air in the recent past talks about meditation, recuperation, and contemplation. What else do we have? We have the King of, Seven of Air, which is the Seven of Swords is the overall. We have the King of Water. What else do we have? Okay, the Death card. We just had Mercury wake up in Scorpio. What else do we have? So there's some type of a transformation. King of Fire. Ooh, that one tried to fly out. See if it tries to come back out later. Okay. Oh, all right. And then we have the Two of Swords, Two of Air. And the outgoing card is the Fool. So bottom of the deck, wow, Knight of Air, lots of communications. Okay, this is about being very determined when it comes to your communication. The Knight of Air is, anytime we have a knight, it's the bringer of things. So being that it's an air sign, it's the bringer of some type of information that's coming in that's going to bring some type of clarity that is going to help you move forward. Maybe you've been holding back on something. You've been contemplating on, something. You've been trying to be cautious. Okay. We have the 4, 6, and 7, or 2, 4, 6, and 7, and Knight of Air. Lots of air here. Lots of communications. Lots of contemplations. Lots of being all up in your head. For some of you, this could have been like an indecision. Maybe you didn't know what decision that you needed to make. Okay. Somebody could be reaching out to you. Okay. Maybe it was an unexpected phone call. They're asking you like, hey, can you go out? Can you meet up with me? Can you, I need to talk. Okay. Or they could be calling you or emailing you, texting you. Somebody here might just need to talk. Okay. And they need some love and compassion from you. Okay. So you may end up like, maybe it was unexpected phone call or a text message, and somebody says, hey, I really need to get together. Maybe you don't even know that that's what they're needing, is they need to sit down and talk. Maybe they have something they need to talk out, and they just need you to be there so that they can bounce something off of you. And maybe it has to do with an important conversation that they're going to be having with someone else, but they want your advice. Okay. So I'm definitely seeing somebody driving somewhere to go and talk to this person, this King of Water. Now, you could be a male or female. You're just emotionally mature. Okay. Yes, the cards, that's just how they work. So don't take gender into the consideration. It's more about the energies that you are contributing to this situation. And I think that, you have a King of Water and a King of Fire. Those are two totally different energies. Usually fire and water make, molten lava. Okay. But that's not what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing any fights or arguments. I'm just seeing where somebody is here that needs to sit down and talk. There's like a strategy that they're working on, and they just need some advice from a really good friend. That's what I'm getting here. They need some compassion. They need some understanding, and they recognize that you're trustworthy enough to have this conversation with. That's what I'm getting. Now, I definitely am getting some type of, when I see the Six of Swords and the Release card, This is about moving on after an ending, some type of a transformation that is happening in your life. So, say a friend got fired from work and they're like, oh my God, I need to sit down and talk with you. I don't know what to do. It's almost like you give them the motivation to be able to move forward after this transformation, after this ending. So I'm not seeing anything bad here. I'm not saying that you are getting fired from your job. If that's the case, you already know it. I'm not predicting anything. And I feel like right now you need to like really pull in on that willpower so that you can move forward, because there's a victory here. So whatever is ending in your life, and whatever communication. So maybe for some of you, you're going to sit down and communicate with somebody that, hey, this is the end and I'm ready to move on, because you got these new beginnings here. You've been standing at this crossroads for a really long time, with this indecision here, for some of you, you've been avoiding a conversation that needs to be had. And now you're not going to be able to avoid it anymore. Okay. And then guess what happens? Look, you're protected. So this is about new beginnings. This is about believing in these new beginnings as well. Believing in yourself. Listening to your intuition. I think that with the moon as the crossing card, the moon always talks about our intuition. It's about our psychic abilities. And being that it's like the crossing card, it's like, really listening to yourself, that inner voice, that guidance from spirit. I do feel with the moon here that you are closing out some type of cycles, having the moon and the death card. Okay. And it says release in this deck, but it's also the death card. It's the number 13. So we are going through a lot of death and transformation. And being that this full moon in Gemini that we have going on the 4th, which is, I believe, tomorrow. Am I correct? Yes, I am correct. There is a square to the nodes, and the south node is in Virgo, which is our past, and our north node is in Pisces, which is our future. So this is going to be an exact square. Are you going to hold on to all this past bullshit that you've been holding on to for a really long time? Or are you going to set it free and start moving forward into these new beginnings? Yes. With the death card here, and anytime we have these Scorpio transits, it's asking you to let something die so that something new can come in. You want to know what the new thing is, and that's why you've had this indecision. But I think that you need to just trust and have faith in the universe that they know what the fuck they're doing, and they're not going to guide you incorrectly. They may give you a course correction, and it may be a little harsh at times, but it's meant to lead you into this new path. And we're all going into a new path, ready or not. Here it comes. We will have Uranus and Gemini full speed ahead next year. We're going to have Saturn and Neptune conjuncting in Aries, something we've never seen in our entire freaking lifetime. Brand new house. The first house. Okay. So this is a reset for the entire collective. Then on top of it, we have the north and south nodes moving into Aquarius and Leo. And then we have Jupiter moving into Leo. And what else do we have? What am I missing? We just had Pluto go into Aquarius. So that's done. So yeah, like this is all new footing, new energy, new everything. So in order for those new things to happen, all these old things need to end and all these old cycles need to close out. And you will be victorious if you're willing to do the work. Now, a lot of the time, most people, they don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work. They want all the new beginnings, but they don't want to let anything go. They're sick and tired of the relationship that they're in. They're sick and tired of the job that they're working that gets them nowhere. Yeah, there it is. Sick and fucking tired. Look at him. He's like, this sucks. I'm sick of it. I'm, discontent with life, discontent with all my options, not really happy. Well, then use that sword to cut shit out. He's wielding a sword, so all you have to do is take that sword and cut out whatever no longer serves you. Shut down all these freaking cycles of bullshit that you've been, putting up with and settling for so that the new beginnings can come about. But I think it's your mind that plays tricks on you. So I do think that it's something someone says to you, whether that's you schedule a reading or you're listening to this reading right now, where it gives you that that power, how do I want to say it, Spirit? It's like it gives you the motivation to want to do something new. Sometimes that's all it takes, is having a really direct conversation with somebody who doesn't beat around the bush, who doesn't pussyfoot around your fucking feelings, because like at the end of the day, facts don't care about your feelings. And when I'm seeing all of these swords here, this is about really looking at the facts right now, looking at the pros and cons. Well, if I stay in this situation, which doesn't make me happy, well, it's a lot of cons. Where's the pros in all of that? You know, and then you think about the life that you could be living. Where's the pros in all of that? Yeah, the cons are maybe I have to let this other thing go. Maybe I have to leave some people behind. Yes, I'll have to find a new job. Maybe it's time for me to find a new place to live. You know, so everybody's going to be on a different journey. I do feel like whatever this is, there's a lot of communication, a lot of talking back and forth. But I do feel like it's actually really good conversations. So this is like a conversation, like, are we doing this or are we not? So if you are partnered and this is a couple here, even though, yes, it shows up as two men, but it doesn't matter. Male, female, female, you know, female, male, male. Well, whatever. It does not fucking matter. This is where you two really sit down and have a conversation and talk about the next steps in our lives. Are we doing this together or are we doing this apart? Because we're at a fork in the road right now. So whatever is happening, either it needs to transform and we're going on the same path together, or it's going to transform and end and we're going to take two different paths. Because at the end of the day, you were born alone, you're going to die alone. So, you know, you can't wait around for other people to make a decision on when it comes to your life. If they can't figure out where you stand in their life, you pretty much stand nowhere. So they better be able to really get on board with the direction that they're going, because it's almost like if they're not with you, they're against you. So however this is, I feel like you need to be emotionally balanced to have this conversation. I feel like one might be a little bit more passionate and fiery, and the other one may be a little bit more sensitive and emotional. So how are you guys going to work through that when you're having this kind of a conversation? My suggestion is anytime you get in, you know, it starts getting a little heated, go cool it down, especially when I'm seeing this snow here. And I'm seeing the snow here. Don't get cold, you know, take a break, go, you know, decompress for a minute, go stand outside, even if it's cold outside, take a few deep breaths, and then go back in and try to sit down and have the conversation. And I feel like you guys will be able to get somewhere. And as I'm saying that, the wind is picking up and it's starting to blow. So, which is all about, again, air signs, communication, lots of air in this reading. So this is a lot of like deep introspective conversations that you're having with yourself, and deep introspective conversations that you're going to have with another in order for you to have a conversation with someone else. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out and schedule a reading. I would be happy to help you through these trying times. But I feel like regardless of whatever is going on here, the four main components of this reading is the Chariot, which is victory and success, the Moon, which is your intuition and cycles, the Release, which is all about transformation, and the Dreamer, so that you can have this new beginning. The Dreamer is the Fool, and the Fool is all about taking a leap of faith. So which direction are we going to take a leap of faith into? Now, for some of you, I know this sounds really fucking random, but it is showing up. There is something here with the dogs. Okay. We've got multiple dogs here. So I don't know, is somebody getting a new dog? Somebody's making a decision about a dog for their family. You could be starting a rescue of some sort. That's only going to be for a small few of you. Maybe you decide you want to foster a pet. Okay. And that's really funny. Not funny, haha, but this little dog right here, he actually looks like my little dog, and his name is Phoenix. So something going on with my little Phoenix, but he is my little ride or die. He goes with me everywhere in my chariot. And it's funny, my name is also here too. So peace. So, I don't know, we'll have to see how this day plays out for myself and how this reading plays out for me, because I'm definitely seeing some synchronicities here. Also, if you're having any type of car issues, I would definitely get those checked out. Maybe it's time for some of you guys to take your car in and just get, the oil changed and do all the little tests and things, make sure everything's running correctly. Because your car is also a part of the family. And if you're loyal to your vehicle is going to be loyal to you. Okay. And if you're not taking care of your vehicle, don't be surprised when it breaks down out in the middle of nowhere. All right. So, I name my vehicles. I always have. I have an emotional connection to my vehicles. I know that sounds silly, but I have Moon in Cancer. I have and the Cancer aspects are showing up here. I can tell when something is wrong with my car. It's like when my car gets sick, I can feel it. I can feel every little thing that goes on with that vehicle. I am so in tune with my cars. If the tire has a rock in it or a nail or something's going on, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to know it. I'm going to know that she's got, a sliver in her, and I'm going to go get the sliver taken out. I'm taking her to the doctor. So I'm not saying that you're going to have like massive car troubles, but if you don't get your car serviced, then the answer is the opposite. Okay. And then you're going to be on foot walking out in the snow. Okay. Definitely seeing that. So you better dress warm. For others of you, if you are living in a place where it does snow, make sure that you have like your first aid kit in your car. Make sure that you have warm clothing, extra set of gloves, dry clothes, and all the things that you need, just in case your car does break down. So that you're not out on foot if anything does happen to your vehicle and you're not freezing your ass off. Okay. Definitely a lot of messages coming through. A lot of talking. Yeah, that's what I got for you. Dare to dream is what I just heard. Dare to dream. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave that there. For some of you, it's time for you to put your swords down. Not a time to fight. Not a time to argue. It is what it is. It's time for you to just sit down and talk. Put your sword down. No fighting, no arguing, no bickering, no bitching. It's unnecessary. Okay? Have those conversations, release what needs to be released, and get ready to move forward because you got new beginnings coming. Anyway, you guys, I love you all so much. Take care.